What's my name?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the What's My Name show. My name is Chemda, and this is Libby. And for this series, we're calling it Reverse What's My Name because normally I would be the one interviewing someone, but because of my giant tumor that has been removed, Libby has been interviewing me in this series, again called Reverse What's My Name. Welcome to the show, me.
Thank you. Welcome to me also. This is our 8th Reverse What's My Name.
Wow, I talk a lot.
And before we start, let's
Why am I peeking over your notes?
I don't
That's
know.
not cool.
Let's thank Tech Andrew, without which we literally wouldn't be able to do this. He taught me how to do the remote recording. He did a whole tutorial for me and Danny and Keith, like step by step. So patient. So thank you. And also he emailed and said that he listened to the other remote recording one that's posted so far and he approved. So that's great.
So congrats to you.
Thank you.
That's
So
awesome.
thanks to Tech Andrew for making this all possible. And then it's been a while since we talked. So just to kind of recap, the last episode was your first week home. And now it's been almost 2 weeks since we've recorded. So the last time we talked, you were feeling like you needed a lot of help. You couldn't raise your arms above your shoulders. You were only able to wear a robe since you couldn't, really get a shirt on easily.
I dressed myself today.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
And you had an enema the last time we talked. And to pick up where we left off, your mom had... That's what kind of where we ended the episode is that
she discovered that I have it.
Right. So Michael told your mom everything that had happened.
Well, actually, a friend of hers who I'm friends with her daughter, she asked my mom how I was doing, and my mom was like, how's she doing about what? And so then she had to call my brother.
Right. Yeah. So on the last episode we had covered, Michael filled her in. It doesn't seem that your dad, it seemed, pretended to not know that Andrew had mentioned it.
Yeah.
And she asked for Hennessy's phone number, which
I declined.
And then you predicted that she would call incessantly, and you said, I could see myself picking up. So that's where we left off. So let's pick up there. Did you answer the phone when she called?
Well, she did call. She was warned that if she called, within the 24 hours that she was speaking to my brother, that I may not have a phone because my phone crapped out, and that's just the timing that I thought I would get another phone. She did call during that time, so of course I missed it. Then I think the second time she called, I also either didn't have my phone right next to me, so I legitimately missed the call, or I was still, getting the new phone. So either way, I missed it, and that was it. She left a couple messages that were very general, wishing me health and happiness, the usual stuff, but now also sort of like making it obvious that she knows about this thing, but not really mentioning it, because I think full on mentioning it would just be weird in general for my family, and also probably on an answering machine. So then she called, and then I'm still
sorry,
making...
one second. So I heard one of them. I mean, you translated because obviously I couldn't. She was speaking in Hebrew, so I couldn't understand. But you said, basically, she said wishing you health many times, but you were like, this is normal. Like, this is what she would leave a message as anyways.
Yeah,
you said it wasn't unusual.
No, wasn't unusual. Maybe the health thing was a little pointed or something.
Yeah, I mean, she mentioned it like a few times.
Yeah, but that's like sort of well wishes. When you speak Hebrew, you're just like, I wish you happiness.
Okay.
Or maybe that's just my mom. Like every birthday card is wishing me health and happiness. It's like the usual,
Okay. And did you say she left more than one message?
Both times she called, both times she left a message.
Okay, but it was all kind of the same.
Same thing.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So then, and I was still debating on whether I should pick up or not, because the thing is I think picking up is me getting my hopes up, which I can't really do to myself. But I also... every time you think this time is different because there's this new information, there's a willingness to, cut through some lines. And, I start convincing myself that this time she's hearing from different ears or something. And I thought this opportunity, because I'm in a different place, it would be different. So I thought I can, first thing say, like, well, why were you mad at me to begin with? And it's almost like, I think it's what I want. I want a real conversation with my mother about real stuff. But
Yeah.
the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I think this is what I think every single time. I just think, like, if I only approach it from this way, then this thing will happen. And so I started, like, really second guessing doing that. But I also was nervous about if my mother calls me every day and, I could ignore the messages, but it's still going to, pop up and
Right.
affect me. So I wonder how I'll deal with that. Well, it turns out we didn't need to worry about that because it was 2 phone calls and that's it.
Okay.
So I haven't heard from her since.
Have you spoken to either of your brothers about it? Do you know if
No.
she's mentioned it to them?
No, actually, no.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of times I either forget to, because I'm very used to now my parents not being a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because when I remember, it's really in a bad spot. When I remember, it's like me accidentally calling out mommy when, like, I feel a pain or something. And I'm just like, no, you don't call out mommy. Like, there's no mommy. And it's like in Hebrew too. And it's just like irritates me because I know that, like, is deep, like,
Yeah,
childhood
it's just
stuff.
a human response.
Oh God.
Yeah,
So-
you're such a
But
human.
it's just,
Ugh.
it's surprising.
Yeah.
And it's even, like, alarming because it's like, for real,
Mm-hmm.
all this time, and
Because you
just-
think you've processed it and like come to a certain point where you're fine
Yes.
with it, and
and it's like calling
I think
out
that's
to
just
God in your final destination.
instinctual.
I want to get this out of my system, but yeah, okay. So
I'm not saying you should have called either of them, by the way. I was just wondering
Totally.
because maybe they had some insight into, you know.
yeah, I would bring it up because, like, what happens is I forget about it. I don't really think about it, and then I do remind myself of it, and then sometimes I get very curious, and that's when I'll ask my brothers. But I also don't want to ask them because I don't want to. I'm trying not to make them a middle person.
Right. No,
and
I gotcha.
I'm trying not to put them in any position that is, like, exhausting already.
Yeah.
So
So nothing she said in the voicemails kind of like piqued your interest or made you think that
no,
you did want to talk to
No.
her?
It was so usual that
Okay.
it just was usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that, I guess, unless
for
there's
now,
any
yeah.
other, updates.
I posted a thing on Facebook saying, because I did get an email or two about, like, hey, in this time you really should, give your parents a break.
Where do people think that they need to comment on that? Like, why does anyone think it's their business?
I think people really internalize it. Like, they'll always add, if it was my parents or, as a parent, I would need to know this about my kid. But you have to also put together that you as a parent may not do all this other stuff. So I posted this thing on Facebook. I really thought it would get some, like, yeah, don't worry about it, or like biggest post yet.
Yeah.
100 people commented.
Yeah, and they were all
Like-
supportive from what I saw. I mean, I don't think I read every single one, but
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I always think, like, okay, I'll just go over it, make sure, but I haven't done that. But yeah, it looked very, very positive.
yeah.
So
Like just people saying no one knows your situation, don't listen to
Yeah.
anyone, or people even saying like I've had this with my parents and they, you don't need to take anyone else's advice into account, like things like that, which was nice.
yeah, I get it. We're taught very much to think of our parents in this way, and it's just antiquated and it doesn't work. So it has to happen differently.
Were you hoping she would have some sort of different response?
I must have.
Yeah.
I must have hoped it somewhere, but part of me is really glad she's not continuing to call, because I think this is her going, well, I tried. And so I'm like, fine, you did. You can sleep on that if you want. Hennessy thinks it's her trying a different way. Like, maybe she could, call and then give me room or something. But, either way, it's the same thing. It's like, I guess to sum it up, not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was over the weekend.
It's quite a weekend.
Yeah, we won't have like quite the same timeline because it's been a little while. But you said you felt like you breathed extra on Sunday.
Yeah, it happened to be nice outside, and we have a little bit of a back area,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to start going back to yoga, even though I can't. I believe it's called chaturanga, like the
Mm-hmm.
push up. I can't do push ups. I can't push my body up, so I can't do a lot of floor stuff. But I wanted to get back in the routine. I only do 10 minutes a day, so even if it's like my little pathetic stretches, where I can't reach over my head or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just get in the routine and stretch as much as I can.
Yeah.
And so I inhaled in, and I'm like, whoa. It felt like all this time I was breathing like this much, and then all of a sudden I could breathe just a little bit longer and a little bit deeper.
Oh wow.
And I just kept doing it. I'm like, is this real? Yep. I think that's more. I think that's more. I don't know. But, I was like, mark it down in my brain
Mm-hmm.
to ask the doctor if that's how it works, where all of a sudden I'm like, I'm breathing. What's going on? So it turns out, yes, it does happen like that.
So then you had all these appointments that you were supposed to go to on Monday.
Yeah, I think I had at that point one, maybe two.
Okay.
But
And yeah, go ahead.
but Hennessy works with Judy Gold. They have a podcast called Kill Me Now.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. And they booked a show on Monday. And as much as he can stay here, I didn't want to mess with that system. So we changed the appointment to Tuesday,
Okay.
which I mentioned because I'm the best wife. No, because I just got a little nervous about it, but I think it was good that I switched it.
What were you nervous about?
I was nervous to move a doctor's appointment. I was
Oh,
nervous
okay.
that in that 24 hours something will happen where I
Sure.
should have gotten checked out earlier. But I moved it because I was like, that's not the way this works, and I really need to keep
Living your life.
and keep like a steady mind of not falling into maybe superstition or catastrophizing something because my schedule changed or
Mhm.
because I had all that clearance issue, like
Yeah.
I need I need for everything to work like the way it's supposed to. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I need to be flexible and everything's okay.
Well, that's good, I guess.
It's
That
an
was like kind of
exercise.
getting over a hump for you.
Yeah.
So then you moved him to Tuesday, so you did go to the doctor on Tuesday.
Yes.
So okay, so you have like different types of doctors. So you have surgeons, you have a neurologist and a radiologist. So who
Yes.
did you see?
I saw that day. I saw the surgeon.
Okay.
When I saw the neurologist, it was like not a big deal. I don't
Mhm.
remember when it was in the timeline, but he basically checked my motor skills because that's what the myasthenia gravis
Mhm.
would be affecting, and so everything seems to be fine. We make another appointment because now this is just part of my routine. I have to check on this.
And there's
So-
nothing. Is there anything that you have to look out for with that? Any
Yeah.
symptoms or?
Just the symptoms. So if I get any of the symptoms, I should beware.
And do you have like a list, or do you just know them? Are they? Is
I
it
know
just the
them.
few?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's so few my muscles will suddenly not work.
Okay.
Droopy eyes,
Mhm.
things that like you would discover and they'll remind me. Like if I suddenly had droopy eyes and I didn't remember that was on the list, I would equate it to the
Right.
myasthenia gravis. But also, usually when people do have the myasthenia gravis,
Mhm.
when the tumor gets taken out, they don't get those symptoms anymore. So they're not anticipating symptoms.
Okay.
They're just anticipating this being a part of maybe something to watch later on in my life.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then.
Did I say about the weed correlation yet with that? Yes, I did in the last one. Yes.
Well, you do have you talked about the correlation, but you had a note here that you told the neurologist about the weed and the
Oh, yeah.
myasthenia gravis.
Very important. Yeah, because we saw such a huge correlation to people's symptoms being either lessened or, removed from the
Mhm.
whole situation if they have cannabis use. We told the neurologist this. And, unfortunately, it's illegal on a couple of levels. And so the doctors like automatically back away as if I'm about to ask them, for permission or for, an actual RX, you know? And so I'm like, look, I'm not telling you that you need to be involved in this. I'm not telling you that I want permission. What I'm telling you is there is a fat correlation to this. And as a neurologist who's interested in, who works with this, I would love for you to just look at it. And so he Googled it real quick while we were in the office, and he saw, a whole bunch of stuff. And we also told him to go to myastheniagravis.org. And he was like, well, this is how I'm going to spend my afternoon today.
Wow.
And I thought that was really great. He saw it right away. And if you ignore that, I kind of feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
Even as like, a doctor where this is illegal and you can't really do much about it, at least you have the information where if you know someone who's coming to you who's already ingesting or somehow like, taking weed in whatever way, now you know.
Yeah.
No, so it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really good that, well, some doctors don't have just like good bedside manner, or they're not good listeners, which is not a good doctor really. So for someone to like take in that information and also then be like, okay, I'm going to look further into this, it makes you feel, I would imagine, like you're being well cared for.
Yes.
So that's great.
You're not blocking information away just because, well, it's illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
You said that you asked about having a cappuccino.
Okay, so we went to see the surgeon. And so this was, okay, you have your operation. 2 weeks later, you see this guy. They check up on things. They look at your x-rays. So things are looking good.
That's
He
good.
told me that I have stage 2A. And I keep asking people, is this cancer? And pretty much all the doctors say, like, that's not the point. Like, that's, irrelevant at this point.
Sorry, real quick to just explain. So since after you got the surgery, they've been digging through the tumor to see what it's made out of. So that's then gives you the stage of the cancer, basically.
Yeah. So I can explain the stages, but I think let me just explain everything's fine.
Okay.
They took it out, but I have to talk to a radiologist because...
now you're jumping way ahead. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to wait till you had the radiologist appointment?
No, and then I'll talk about that later. Because what I wanted to also get was some clears on some stuff. I knew that I was going to go to the radiologist. He's going to explain all this, So what I wanted to know is...
You asked about cappuccino and walking.
They told me to take it easy, but like live my life. So I don't know, how far can I walk then? Is that a mile? Is that half a mile? So I got walk until your body goes stop. And I'm like, all right, I guess I can work with that,
Yeah.
Don't walk so far that like...
You can't make it back.
Exactly. But I'm like, well, I can do that because we have cabs. Like, so I'm not worried or nervous about it.
You won't be stranded somewhere.
Right. 'Cause really, I'm only going a mile if I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I had been drinking a little bit of coffee, but it just seems like a cappuccino with an espresso would not be good for my newly placed heart or whatever. And no one ever gave me any, you can't do this or you can't do that. Like, I was cleared for everything, but I just thought that was next level. So I asked him, I was like, I know that I ask very weird questions and I'm going to ask another one. Can I have a cappuccino? And he's like, what? He goes, do you like cappuccinos? And I go, yeah. And he's like, then have them. I'm like, I don't know, my heart. And he's like, it's fine. It's fine. Have whatever you want.
No, it totally makes sense because you said you're well, let's
Dr. Us.
Just yeah. It makes sense because you said you're feeling your heart more. So, and I mean, even coffee, even me makes my heart race sometimes. So like I can imagine if your heart is now in a different location than you're used to it being.
I want to feel that.
I get why it would freak you out. Are you getting more used to it? Are you still feeling your heart a lot?
No, I'm not feeling it as much, but
Okay.
I wonder if I'm also not doing the things that I would feel it. I'm not upping my
Exercise?
yeah, I'm not doing any cardio stuff. I'm not.
Right, but when you were in the hospital, we walked down the hall and I could feel your heart beating like out of your chest.
Much better than that. No, that would be freaky.
Right.
Yeah. No, now I can only feel it like when I'm laying down or something because my boob still feels like it's not a part of my body.
Is it still hard?
It's still a little bit hard, but not as much. Like, it wouldn't be as fun to let someone touch it now.
Uh-huh.
But when I lay down, like, this boob just does whatever normal, like, it's part of my body.
Uh-huh.
And this boob is like, we're moving over. And I'm like, oh God, you don't have to shout it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just very aware. And this is a new stage of nipple shit. Like, oh God, my nipple is so sensitive. So just wearing a shirt and the slight movement that shirt has against I think pregnant women could, because when I was pregnant, you just feel it and your whole boob gets hard and your nipple gets hard and it just stays there. It just stays in that state. So if you ever see me walking down the street, I'm legit holding my boob, just holding it, just hoping it would calm down.
Did you ask about that at all? Is it like, well, you said it's getting better, so I guess that's good. Is it?
I think it got worse just recently, and I think I kind of know that's normal because all the stuff is still reattaching itself.
Sure.
So I get like zaps of pain, I get tingles, I get like weird things, which I know that is normal.
Okay.
Yay. Gross.
So you said you got clearance to walk more. You asked about the cappuccino. You made breakfast by yourself. You have here sad breakfast, low-hanging breakfast. Please explain.
I was so hungry. And I didn't really want to wake Hennessy up. And I'm like, I have some motor skills now, right? And so I'm like, what can I reach? And I'm doing, what's this dinosaur? Pterodactyl? Who's this?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay.
With the little arms is what she's doing for the listeners.
Sound like that.
Last time you were a turtle on its back, now you're a T-Rex.
A lot of spirit animals going.
Quite the evolution here.
I'm a giant. Yeah, so I'm just like, what can I reach? And also, what's not going to take me, layers of food.
Yeah.
So I reached the eggs and I reached a piece of toast and I reached the toaster and I just plopped it in there. And it was just the stuff that I could reach. Like I would have loved to have had a potato or so, or maybe some salad with it. It was very basic, but I'm like, look at me. So it was like low-hanging fruit.
I gotcha, yeah.
Low-hanging breakfast.
No, it's very clever.
Thank you. Those were my private notes.
Well, I'm sorry you gave them to me. Also, that's hilarious. It doesn't sound that sad. That sounds like a decent breakfast.
Sure. I'm not knocking eggs on toast, but
no, I get you.
I'm sure there was salt and pepper.
Yeah. So next you woke up with a sty and your rash was getting worse. And you had to cancel some people coming over. So
yes,
the rash was from your
adhesive
on the side, right, where your tubes were?
That's where I think it started.
Okay.
But then it just starts spreading. And then I have it like, on the side of my arm. And there's so much rash there.
Did you end up asking about it? Could it be a reaction to any medication or?
I did ask about it. They didn't seem that concerned. It seemed like a regular thing after surgery, but I am making or have made a dermatologist appointment.
Okay.
Ever since I came back from the doctor, I made all kinds of doctor's appointments. So I'm either on my way to or have made a dermatologist appointment.
Okay.
I have an allergist tomorrow. Like, I just want to get it all checked out.
Sure.
Why
Why not get the works now, right?
My premium's paid. So yeah, I have this like giant, just it's full of rash. It's got tons of little bumps. So then it starts spreading. It's like kind of on the side of my boob. I start seeing it a little on the other arm, and I'm like, there were no adhesives here. Like this is not cool. Plus, I'm now annoyed. There's a sty on my eye. It's giant, and like my eye is like half closed, and I feel like a monster at this point. I had guests lined up to come over. I was just like, I always say, like, check with me before you head over because I could be having a bad day. And the one day that I finally was like, yes, people can come over. I think it's been like enough time where I'm not like just, a turtle on my back. I had to cancel. There were like 2 people that day and someone canceled the day before. And so it actually felt like people were canceling on me and I was canceling, and it just felt like the friendship circle dropped.
Oh.
So I got a rash, I got a sty, I got like kind of a feeling of loneliness, and I should have paid a little bit more attention to it because I think it started my slope.
Mm.
And so, also, Hennessy had to start doing like other stuff other than just, just looking at me and making sure I'm okay. And I had a little bit more freedom to move around and do my own stuff. I was getting even more mobility. I was able to make like actual food with
Yeah.
like all the components. So I'm feeling more independent.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hennessy's, kind of catching up on other stuff, making sure that, our bills started coming in. He started looking through that, the mail, there's like normal stuff, cleaning the
Sure, just
house.
catching up on stuff.
Yeah. But meanwhile, I'm starting to go stir crazy and not realizing it.
Yeah.
And so, and there's also some stuff that's not being tended to. And in my mind, I blew that up even more. So there's some dishes that are in the sink for like a while. And I'm just like, just let me do the dishes. I could reach now. And he's like,
Mhm.
no, no, no. I just need to get to it. But this is the kind of stuff that I want and should be doing for you. And I'm like, all right, but, and then there was this thing that needed to be thrown out. But first we have to look through it. That was getting on my nerves. And I'm like, what about that? Okay, I just need to get to a couple other things. I'll
Mhm.
get to it. And then one morning I just woke up and it just felt like everything was in my way. It felt like all the dishes were not done. It felt like all my friends canceled on me, even though that's not the case.
Uh-huh.
It felt like even if they were to come over, I have nothing to say to anybody anymore. I like, what are you up to? I don't know. This like just this exactly what you're looking at. I'm up to that, and so lost my mind, and I don't know if I woke him up or he woke up, and I was like, you could just tell me to do the dishes if you're not gonna do the dishes. Just let me throw this out. I'm capable of doing some stuff now. I might as well put my energy to it. I just started getting really upset. I was just
Mhm.
like, when this first started, you even made people like not Purell, their
Yeah,
hands,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Purell their
Mhm.
hands, and everything had to be like so sanitary. But now the dishes could be just left, and like everything's in my fucking way, and
Mhm.
whatever. And he was like, "Are you joking right now? All I've been doing is stuff." And I'm like, well, you can't just make promises. Just let me do it if you can't do it. Like, da da da. And he's like, so this is when it's bad. Normally, like, one of us can get this upset and the other one's like, sort of going along with it, going like, you're going to calm down in a minute and feel so fucking stupid. Like, and I'll just like placate you for a little while without being
Mhm.
condescending, but just like, oh, all right, you're not feeling good. But he was probably in something of that state too, where I could just like light, a small fire and ignite.
Well, you guys are both semi trapped here,
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
have more mobility
And he said that.
he
He's like,
does too, but
I'm here too. And I'm like, you can leave whenever you want. I'm the one who's stuck. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm saying the stuff. This is what I was talking about, being scared to turn into a monster because I'm just losing my mind
do you
without
know
realizing.
that losing it one time is
Okay,
not
wait, I'm
turning
not
into a
done.
monster?
I'm not done because I was not
Okay.
done.
No, I'm waiting for you to
Yeah, yeah,
become a
yeah.
monster. Yeah.
Well, so this is me totally telling on myself. I do not want to share this, but I figure I should because if everything else is going in this,
Yeah.
then this has to go in this. So I'm only escalating it. So then he
Mhm.
escalates it also. And I know he knows this is the dumbest thing on earth, but I'm livid. And so he walks away and I'm just like, and just, And so I kick a chair down. I kick another chair down. I throw a tray. Now, I half lost my mind and half I
Mhm.
was like, I could kick this chair. Because I avoided the electronics that were right there.
Hmm.
I knew the tray had nothing on it, and it wouldn't break.
You threw a fit, but like a
Calculated, yes.
contained.
But I did loop, but I was like throwing it, and it
Mhm.
was like, and all you could hear from the other room is that shit's getting torn up. And so he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" So
Mhm.
I have this dialogue that he shared with me after I was done with my tantrum that
Mhm.
happened, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, that sounded like that's what happened." Because it did. So he comes in and the chairs are on the ground. Clearly, I threw them.
Mhm.
And so he goes, "Oh, that's really helpful. That's good. That's really good." And I'm like, "Is this really where he's good?" Like in my mind, I'm like, "Really? Like if I'm throwing things, then one of us has to calm down. But, none
Right.
of this is really being thought out. So he goes, oh, really? That's really helpful. And I go, no, it's not.
Yeah, it was not meant to be helpful.
This is totally not how we talk to each other.
No,
but
I
I'm
know.
like, I'm doing it. And so, no, it's not. And he's like, yep, really nice. And I go, shut up, which I may have said to him one other time in our relationship. I don't say shut up to people.
Yeah.
So he goes, shut up. So I go, shut up. And he goes, you shut up. And I'm like, I actually said, what the shit? And then I just cried because I was just like, I don't know where to go from here. We actually just said shut up to each other. This is the most asinine fucking thing ever. And so I'm crying. The fucking water to the dishes on because I'm also doing the dishes. Like a creepy asshole. And so the water to the dishes on. It's quite the scene. I'm kneeled down, like with my head in my hands. And then what I learned later is he took 3 bong hits and came over and was like, I'm so sorry that you feel this way and that you feel like I dropped you. And because I was like, where are you in the beginning? And whatever. He's like, I'm really sorry that you feel this way. And I didn't mean to make you feel this way. And I'm like, oh, I know that I'm not right, but I am going to soak this up. I'm just like, no, it's all right. I shouldn't have thrown things. And he's like, that's okay and whatever. And I got to tell you this. I'm not trying to condone throwing things, but ever since then, it's been glorious. I think I should have punched something, but I don't really punch things. But I also don't throw things. So possibly it was inevitable that something would have happened. I don't think it's inevitable. I could have done something, but I don't know what.
No one
and
is.
I threw things.
This is not. First of all, okay. I have so many things. This is not your normal behavior. It's not how you normally deal with a fight. Like you said, you guys usually together, you don't escalate things. One of you kind of keeps calm or like realizes that the other person is freaking out, and it's you always say like it's their turn or whatever. That doesn't mean, you know what? Sometimes things just reach a point where it's going to burst. This is a very intense time. You are handling it really well. Hennessy is handling it really well, but something's got to give sometimes. In the best of circumstances, if you were trapped in a house for a month, you might have, a little fight. And these are very extreme circumstances. You have to give yourself a break. Now, if you were doing that every day, would that be something to like be concerned about? Probably, because that's not how you solve an argument and you're an adult. But one time in, you've been dealing with this for months. Like, throw a fucking fit. What,
It's, that's not, well, I don't know. He said, like, you're allowed to do that. It doesn't bother me. And I get it. Like, I'm not a fan of, that kind of stuff. Because I think, we all have fathers who lost their tempers. And it's just... And then you're supposed to just be like, oh, you just lost your temper, but...
No, that's scary. And definitely, like, throwing stuff is scary and violent. And if it was a recurring thing, that would be something to be concerned about. And I'm not even saying that it was, like, necessarily the best option in that moment. But I'm saying you deserve a pass, It's one time.
Well, I'm taking it.
Like,
and it really has been so good ever since. Like, I'm so
you
much
probably
more calm.
needed to fight. Both of you probably needed to like get out some frustration and some anger.
Yeah, it's been really good since then. Like, I'm just like, I feel so calm, and we've been like more loving, and I like see him more as a person instead of my caretaker since then, and like. We've been getting more shit done, and like that's the thing. Every time I start to get shit done, and I feel like a normal human, something comes up. So
yeah, because there's ups and downs. That's part of healing.
Yeah. So you
want it to be a straight line. I'm better today than yesterday, and today and today and today. That's not how shit works, lady. Like,
I'm getting that.
That would be great if you could just have a little checkbox each day. I'm this much better. I'm 2% better today.
I really thought that's how it happened. And
why?
The thing
Why?
Is, I don't know. I don't. Because that's how a wound heals usually. You know what I mean? That's how a scratch heals. Like I've never
Sometimes
really
a
been...
wound reopens and then it heals
That's
again.
true. Yeah, so that is what keeps happening. I gotta like stop, not expecting it, because that's, I think, the toughest part. And
Of
what's
course.
weird in my mind is the days that I do really well, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a fraud. I'm asking people for money. I'm taking time off. I'm just like, I think I could just do things, and then crash. And then I'm just like, am I feeling... I just like sometimes I feel like I'm making it up, and I'm like, no,
You're
this is like
not making anything up.
legitimately annoying and frustrating. And yeah, and so here's what happened after that. Everything is going well, and boom, the last time I saw you, when was that, a day or two ago? I don't know if you noticed, but I couldn't sit down.
I did notice that you didn't sit. Yeah. Was that?
Yep. So take two for the enema. I was still hoping it would pass, but I actually couldn't sit down anymore because I had been teased all day, and it just started hurting my butthole. And it wasn't coming out. And so after you left, I just kept pacing, and then I was like, that's it, I'm calling it. And I had to send baby butt to the local drugstore on his bike, and he came back, and here we go in my butt.
And that's from the
was-
pain meds, right? That you're getting constipated?
Yeah, and I'm also taking like stool softeners, but the balance of it is just not really something that you could predict. So this time it hurt so much more, and oh my God, I felt like I was having contractions, like, and I'm not a good patient when it comes to like this thing. 'Cause I got to bend over, feel my weird boob, like, and I'm just like, okay, you're putting an enema in my butt. You still have to find me attractive. Like, there might be something poking out of there already. I don't know. I can't tell. And he's like, I love it. And I'm like, no, this is not sexy.
Who's gonna do it if not your husband? For better or for worse?
know,
Isn't that the agreement?
I
He's
know.
trapped. You trapped him just in time.
I know. And you know what? He is like, he does not care at all.
I
And
know.
I wouldn't care either. I would do it
Of
to
course,
you. Like,
yeah.
I don't care. But you're just in this vulnerable, stupid
I know.
position. So I went in the shower because water falls. And I'm just like, okay, I just need this water on me while you do it. Is that distracting? No, not at all.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. You do you. You do you. I'll just be down here. Oh, I only get 5 seconds because you're squeamish and you move. And this time it took twice.
Aw.
It took twice because I'm an idiot. And I moved before I needed to. It was so painful. And then that's it. It was
worked?
It was like 8 o'clock. Oh, you could hear me. I only have 2 floors of neighbors. I'm sure the top floor heard me because I was like, yes. Like, really, I've watched births that sounded exactly the same. And then I was like, okay, I'm calling it. And I went to sleep, woke up the next day. It was like 8 o'clock at night or something.
And
but
you didn't even shit your pants again, or?
Woke up 2 hours later, took it seriously, made my way straight to the bathroom. We caught it in time, folks.
Nice.
Caught it in
See,
time.
that's improvement. You're getting better.
But don't count on it.
Right.
Is the thing.
Could still happen again. No promises.
Yeah, that was exhausting.
Ugh, I can imagine. Yeah, it's like you're already going through a lot, so then any extra things can't help. So you mentioned, we're going a little out of order, but that's fine. So Saturday, well, I am kind of curious about this because Saturday you emailed me about having a meeting about wanting to set a return date. And we had the meeting on Sunday. And I'm wondering if your freak out was before or after that. I think it would have been after.
Oh, God, I think it was after.
If it helps, you went to the radiologist on Wednesday. We had a meeting on Sunday.
Yeah, it could be in between that because by the time I went to the radiologist, I think I was okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
the only reason I say it might have been after is because it was very clear that you were going stir crazy when I came over.
It was after
And-
because I could tell that I wasn't being normal to you. Yeah. I was
Which
just-
is fine, but like
yeah, I
So
probably looked like a caged animal.
you were just you had all these ideas and you wanted to come up with all these plans and like that's so you, and I get it, but at the same time I'm trying to ask from like a practical point of like scheduling. you're like, I want to set a return date. And I'm like, great. What information do you have that lets us set a return date? And you're like, none. I have no new information. And I'm like, then what the fuck are we doing here? Like, but of course I didn't say that, but I'm like,
You said it
I
plenty.
said it nice.
Whatever. I could tell I was getting on your last nerve, and I'm like, doesn't she understand? I just want to come back. And then it's like, no, because it's stupid. I
Of
can
course
hear
I
her.
understand that. But at the
No.
same time, was I an asshole about it?
No.
Okay.
But I knew I was being an asshole until I finally was like, no,
You were
I'll
like,
get back to you.
you were like, I think I can come back in 7 weeks. No problem. I think I could come back almost now. I think I could come back in 6 weeks. And I go, okay, you told me that even if you were healed, you wanted the complete 8 weeks so that you weren't pushing it. You could be completely healed. Are you changing your mind on that? And then you're like, no, I don't know. I guess not. I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I think that you told me that even if you wanted to come back early, we should wait the whole 8 weeks.
Yeah, that was a good reminder. I was like, yeah, I did say that. I probably said that for a reason. And I
Yeah.
was like, fine, I'm going to go to the radiologist on Wednesday, but then we're really talking about this.
And I'm like, great. Then we'll have something to talk about.
But part of that was like, I felt guilty. I'm like, did I call this meeting with no new information? And like, am I just fucking pushing everybody because I'm an idiot? And then I'm just like, I know I had a reason for things.
It ended up being a productive meeting, and it's not for no reason. It doesn't matter if it didn't end up being productive. Like, you calling a meeting because you are feeling out of the loop or whatever, do that. Like, do whatever you need to do to get through this time. Like, I'll come to as many meetings as you want. I'll keep you, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a problem. The problem was that I could tell that you were going fucking nuts.
No, it was after that. It was definitely after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was probably the next day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense then to me.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, I was going nuts.
yeah. So, okay. So then, so to go back.
Yeah, because it was out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said that you had gone on Friday, you went on the train for the first time.
Oh yeah, I was still doing okay then.
Mhm.
Well, that was right after I canceled with friends.
Right. So that was
And-
Thursday. Then Friday, you went on the train.
Yeah, I almost canceled that. What it was Eric Kornman
Mm-hmm.
was like, hey, you're posting these pictures. You want to take professional pictures while we're at it if you're being open about stuff. And I'm like,
Of your
yeah.
scar and stuff.
Yeah.
You're saying.
I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, why not? Like, we're documenting it. Let's do this. He takes amazing pictures.
Mhm.
And I thought it was a good opportunity. But I also was a little nervous. Like, I can't commit to anything like this because I could just cancel. But he seemed to be very flexible. And so it was my first time on the train. Because last time we did take a cab to the doctor, and it was the same kind of pain in the ass. Like, you're kind of in this car, and it's uncomfortable anyway. And we were stuck in traffic, so I'm like, it's during the day. Let me just get on the train. But I could feel myself holding Hennessy's hand like a small child, like really hard.
Yeah.
And he would turn to me and go like, "We're doing great." And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm being obvious. He'd walk in front of me, so if I fall down the stairs, he'll catch me. Like, we were just, very careful. I noticed that I put my hand literally out in front of me.
Yeah,
like-
because I mean, people bump into
Yeah.
you in the city, even like not being rude, but sometimes depending, it's just you're so squished together, everyone's
being-
bumping into everybody.
it's totally defensive. Like, totally like, hey, if you guys fall, I'm going to move out of your way. So I was just kind of, reacting before anything happened, keeping a distance. Like, normally, you just like sardine your way into things.
Yeah.
I was, letting someone take like the step in front of me and things
Right.
like that. So that was good. And it was my exercise for the day because you got to go up
I'm
and down the
sure,
stairs.
yeah.
So I think that was that was the whole day,
Mhm.
even though it was just a couple hours of my
Yeah.
time. But that was really fun. I was a human being, and the
The-
pictures came out
It
good.
came out amazing.
I only saw one picture, but he sent it to me right after, and we took some topless ones.
Oh,
with,
wow.
I wanna.
You wanna
see
see
what I
the whole
look like.
thing.
Yeah, and some with like Hennessy holding my boobs from behind, a la Janet Jackson style, which is so funny.
Mhm.
He's a doctor; he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Photographer, who gives a shit?
Uh-huh.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone did my makeup. I'm forgetting her name, but I'll post it. I just met her that day. Oh, Glenda.
Oh, nice.
Mhm,
Yeah, you looked
mhm.
great. And the scar looked amazing. I mean, obviously you wore like a dress that showed
Yes.
the scar, But I don't know. Do you not like people saying that it looks cool? Because it seems weird to say, like,
No,
oh, your horrific thing that happened to you looks really cool.
no,
Like,
that's fine. Because what's funny is I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's not what I thought it would look like, and
Mhm.
because it's a big red mark right now,
Mhm.
but right away people are like, whoa, that looks amazing, and I'm like, what are they looking at? But I was like, I'll just go with what they're looking at. It looks amazing. It
Mhm.
looks amazing. But it's gonna look different. Right now, the stuff is peeling off of it. It had a casing on it.
A
It looks,
waterproof, like, Band-Aid kind of thing?
yeah, and it looks like a snake coming out of its, shedding out.
Uh-huh.
So I do want to post something
Yeah, it
about that.
actually looks a little worse now, but I think
Yeah.
that's just because it was so like flat and smooth because of the covering, and now that that's coming off, and then you'll probably see what it's actually going to look like.
Yeah, so under my boob, actually,
Mhm.
some of it completely came off, and that
Oh.
does look pretty subtle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I just, it's so under the boob that it's hard to even look. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I expected a scar. I don't expect it to look great, but like if people like
Mhm.
it, people like it. I think I noticed though, because I try not to show it outside because you're not supposed to have sunlight, but it
Oh,
also
okay.
irritates me, and so if I just go to the store, I leave it out. And for a minute, I was leaving it out because I'm only going quickly because I want people to see that, because if I'm on the train, get away from me,
Right.
you know? And so I did notice, like, I think a dude was like about to like say something like cat collie and then
Mhm.
saw my scar.
Nice, your
I
new
know.
superpower.
Woo! My only
So it was all
deterrent.
worth
Yeah.
it. Well, and then of course you'll get the radiology, and then you'll be Spider-Man. But
Right, right. Well, yeah.
until then, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, and then I could just web them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do.
Yeah. So speaking of radiology, so you went to the radiologist. So
Yeah.
they told you the stage, or that you already knew the stage from the surgeon?
I knew the stage. Now I was going to find out really what the stage actually means. In
Yeah.
this
So
next
tell me
process.
about that. You
Okay.
said it's 2A, right?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So, okay, the tumor has a thing around it. It's encapsulated.
Okay.
So
So it's
that,
like a casing kind of?
right. So that casing is what sort of starts with the stages. So if the cells, the tumor cells, have stayed inside that case and didn't even go in the case, that's stage 1. That's
Okay.
like your favorite one. Stage 2 is it goes into the capsule. Mine went just outside the capsule, which is bad. Because it means it got into some other parts of my body. So when they think they took the whole tumor out, now there's a possibility, because so what they did was part of the tumor was actually attached to the lung. The rest of it could really just be scooped out like it's on its own, island.
Yeah.
So because it was a peninsula, the problem was that means it had a good chance for some of those cells to affect the lung. So what they did was, instead of taking out just what they saw, they took out a little bit more, because why not? Let's take out some of her lung. It wasn't even a big deal. They already like okayed it with me.
Right. It was still very little of your lung.
Yeah, very, very little. 1%, maybe even less, who knows. But so the fact that they took out a little bit of that means that if the cells did start coming out, they're more likely to scoop it. So when they looked at the tumor, they did see that it was a little bit in the casing and a little bit just outside the casing.
Okay.
So the 2A is there's so little outside the casing, you almost don't want to call it stage 2, something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like the mini version of stage 2.
Okay.
So that's also good news, right? But the bad news is that radiology would normally happen here. And the recommended dose would be 5 days a week for 5 weeks. It lasts about an hour. You get a little bit red on the spot, but that's not permanent. And the rest of the day, it's not like chemo where you just kind of like are out of it. You supposedly will be fine after. So, but he would recommend me going to New Jersey for whatever kind I would get. He's recommending this one guy. So,
Okay.
pain in my ass, other pain in my ass, different versions of pain in my ass, Okay, but here's the thing. A new study came out about 2 weeks ago. A paper came out. They studied people with stage 2 and stage 3 thymoma specifically, which is very rare. So how many people are they even asking? And then stage 2 and 3 are so different, but they showed 5% increase of people not dying. So 5%, yeah, that's a terrible way to say that. So with radiology,
Radiation.
With
Mhm.
radiation, 5% more survived thymoma
Okay.
in my
So you have a
case, quote, unquote.
5% greater chance of surviving with radiation. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. Which, according to the doctor, if that study did not come out, he would just go, don't do radiology. Don't do,
Oh wow.
yeah.
And why would that be?
Because studies up until then, it was like just enough for you to not be as concerned with it. And because getting radiation is fine now, he said, if you get radiation now, absolutely all the cells will die. You will 100% be like gone with.
Mhm.
So that's the good news. The bad news is it absolutely shows the cause of cancer in my future, like in people's future. So
It ups your chances of getting cancer in the future.
by a lot.
Really?
So, oh, you know what? I don't know the percent of a lot. I'm gonna ask him when I go to the next. Uh, I was gonna say meeting because that's all it feels like is more information. You know.
Yeah.
So we're getting a CAT scan so he could look again. But basically, I could either get rid of it completely now and possibly get heart, lung, breast cancer, and breast cancer runs in my family. Cancer in general runs in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can take a chance and that one cell that was left there because it's so microscopic they can't see it and only radiation would help will grow and then I have to deal with that.
So if it grows, then what happens?
So
Do they do radiation then, or
see, that's what I have to ask also. It seemed like it was more complicated than that, like that I do complicate my life and we have to, deal with whatever comes with that tumor.
Mhm.
So I don't really know. I have to get more information. I have an appointment on Thursday. Because what's cool about this is once again, I have an awesome doctor who's like
Mhm.
way listening to me and is giving me all the info and understands the position that I'm in this uh and he said he knows the people who put that
The study out.
together.
That is so incredible. Like,
Amazing.
yeah.
So he got in touch with them to get, because he's like, well, how many of these people were stage 3? Does that really affect you? How much does it affect you? He said he sent my tumor information and all the stuff to them. He's going to talk to them. He sent it to colleagues of his that are also specializing in, thoracic and whatever,
Yeah.
So them, and also the hospital in general has a thoracic
Like department.
meeting every Thursday morning, and I'm going to meet with him after that because he's going to bring that up, and I'm going to get a CAT scan before then. So they're going to talk about the CAT scan, all this information.
And what does the CAT scan show? Does that show if there's cells or what? I wouldn't.
There's no way we're going to be able to see cells.
That's
but
what I thought. But so
yeah.
what is it? What are they looking for with that?
They just don't want to go blindly after the surgery. They did get an
so
X-ray.
you just haven't had a CAT scan since the surgery.
Exactly. So you could, CAT scan is amazing. Oh, I got to get that picture
Okay.
because you could see my organs.
Uh-huh.
So why not look at my organs, see what's up? I
Sure.
don't know. So they're going to look at that. So I'll have more information on Thursday, but it's
Yeah, it
gonna
sounds
be up
like
to
you'll
me.
have a lot of like second and third opinions, which is great.
Yeah.
So you were saying, I cut you off. You were saying basically he said it's up to you
Yeah.
whether or not you want to get radiation.
And so, yeah, that was pretty scary. It was the least of the scary because I love these doctors who sit there with you and they don't seem rushed and, they'll happily repeat the information, but then towards the end, the gravity of the whole thing starts seeping in and I'm like, let's wrap this up. The tears are about to come. Let's go. Let's go. I'm sick and tired of, crying in people's offices. Like, let's get it moving. And we didn't. Got a couple tears out, but it was manageable. And then as soon as we turn the corner,
I think it's warranted.
but I just don't want to. I just want to leave the office.
Yeah.
I want to, because I want to really cry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have like some halfway. Let's just.
You don't need an
and-
audience for having your
yeah.
feelings about it.
Yeah. So as soon as we turn the corner, I'm like, oh God, another thing, whatever. And I still understood the logic behind it. I still, was very happy about that meeting. But I'm like, we're going to that nice supermarket, and I'm gonna get a lovely lunch, and I did. And it was a lot. And then later on, he cried because we take turns, and that was good. But we are
Hennessy, not your doctor, I'm assuming.
maybe my doctor cried.
Maybe.
They should tell me. And so now I'm deciding. I have to say I'm leaning towards no.
Yeah.
I don't want cancer in the future. I feel like in this way, maybe something won't happen. In the other way, it seems like I'm giving myself a cancer future. And also, I want to bring up this. We learned about medicinal cannabis, and God, I'm forgetting this guy's name again. But this guy manipulated cannabis to this very concentrated oil that has supposedly healed his cancer. And I say supposedly because there's no official anything. So it's all anecdotal because it's illegal, right? But he was basically, the doctor sent him home to die. You know, at stage 4, there's a certain, threshold where it's like, we can't do anything more for you.
And what kind of cancer did he have?
I forgot. Hennessy's doing something with water. I think.
Okay.
Land, we can hear you.
Okay, it's fine. They won't be able to hear it on the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So, or maybe that's rain.
It's okay.
So he
Yeah.
made this oil. I don't know what kind of cancer he had, but that's crazy, right?
Yeah, I think maybe he opened the door. I don't think it's actually going to show up on the recording, though.
Okay.
So we
right.
can just continue.
So,
It's just distracting to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
so he made this oil. I don't know what cancer he had, but it cured his, and then he started giving it to other people for free. It reduced their tumors. It cured their cancers, and on the government's cancer site, it says that there is a correlation to reducing cancer cells, reducing tumor cells with cannabis. So we're going to go that route also.
I have some, I mean, obviously I know like pretty much nothing about this.
Rick Simpson oil.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Okay. I knew it was something like that, but I didn't
Right?
want to guess because I didn't think that I'd be right.
It sounds like an 80s rock star.
Yeah.
Right? Rick Simpson. Yeah.
So the American Cancer Society said, well, first of all, I mean, you know this obviously, but the sorry, Hennessy just came in the room. It just
Yeah.
distracted me for a second. So it says, at this time, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration lists marijuana and its cannabinoids as Schedule 1 controlled substances. This means that they cannot legally be prescribed, possessed, or sold under federal law. And it also means that they can't do studies about it because it's illegal. So this is, again, I have from two
How you
different
could say
sites.
that about cannabis when
Yeah.
we do have proof that it does some.
Well, and there have been some studies because they are starting to do that, but definitely not extensively because it's so hard to get anything approved because it's Schedule 1.
Right.
So this says it's like a Q&A, how can marijuana affect symptoms of cancer? And they're mostly, so far, it's mostly about like the, nausea or pain. It's more to do with the side effects as opposed to like the actual cancer cells or tumor. There's much less research on that.
Yeah, that's what I know cannabis to do for cancer patients. That's
Right.
how I, in movies or whatever, you deal with the post.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
for whatever reason, that seems to have been, that's what they've let
Allowed.
through, as far as like medical marijuana. So it does say that more recently, scientists reported that THC and other cannabinoids, such as CBD, slow growth, cause death in certain types of cancer cells growing in laboratory dishes.
I mean,
So these aren't in humans, but
it's huge.
And then
this
it's
is cancer. What so many people are dying from, suffering from. Even just that should tell you that it shouldn't be Schedule 1.
okay, there's more to this though, so
all
maybe
right.
just, and not that this is the be all end all, but just for like a little background. Some animal studies also suggest certain cannabinoids may slow growth and reduce spread of some forms of cancer. There have been some early clinical trials of cannabinoids in treating cancer in humans, and more studies are planned. While the studies so far have shown that cannabinoids can be safe in treating cancer, they did not show that they help control or cure the disease. Relying on, and then this is like a disclaimer, it's like relying on marijuana alone as treatment while avoiding or delaying conventional medical care for cancer may have serious health consequences. But I also feel like they have to say that.
Of course they do, and I wouldn't choose just you know what, cannabis is just going to cure everything I have. And I would absolutely go with a doctor's recommendation. And I did not use cannabis to shrink my tumor. I didn't take any chances like that. But I have seen mothers take that chance on their kids, their toddlers, you know, not being concerned about the stigma or the, you know, my kid's being high and I'm just giving them drugs. Your kids are high on those other drugs too. They get high on all this other prescription stuff too. They get their liver destroyed. They get, you know, and they're also not getting healed, cured. It's just not working. So these kids were sent home to die also. And parents are like, it's either my kid's going to get high or they're going to die. And so they chose that. Suddenly they see a tumor shrinking. Suddenly they see, you know, cancer cells going away. And this is somebody who's left to die. So I feel like I can't ignore that info either because I don't think there's a conspiracy of, you know, parents and, you know, dying people going like, you know, fuck you on your way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are people who are not your average, like, you know, hippies. They were already, you know, doing the drug anyway.
It's not potheads.
It's not.
Quote unquote. Like, I don't mean to,
Yeah, but it's not what you know, what maybe your average person would normally think. Like, you're just finding an excuse to smoke more or ingest more or whatever. These are people who were not smokers at all or not regular smokers. We're sort of anti-weed. We're like, you know, I really am going to die. I would shoot heroin right now if you tell me, you know, it's going to work. So I can't deny that. And also what happens with weed, with cannabis is like, it's not going to hurt me. So I'm going to do the Rick Simpson oil. I'm going to do the concentrated amount. And I won't be able to see its effect because if I do have cells in me, they can't see it anyway. So if it doesn't come back, it could be that naturally it wasn't going to come back. Maybe they really did get it all.
Right.
And
because there are times, I mean, if you don't do anything, there is also a chance that it won't grow back.
Right.
So
And if
you
I do
won't
something-
know if it worked necessarily or not.
Right.
But I mean, even they say that it's not going to harm you. It could, I guess the harm, quote unquote, would be if it doesn't work and then it delays treatment. But it also sounds like the doctors.
This is why I'm not concerned about that, is because right now I'm being monitored no matter what. And I'm going to include my doctors in on this. I know they're not going to be able to have an opinion or be able to help me with it, but they should know it. And it's okay that I don't get radiation. I think, you know, they really are like, it's either way. And he took the time to go, whichever way you decide is the right choice. So don't, you know, double think yourself. Like, don't like worry about it. You choose this way, that's the right way. And you'll know. And if not, like, we're monitoring you and, you know, these are your choices. So your
That's
body
really good.
understands that. Yeah.
And you do have some more information coming. I mean,
Yes.
you know, who knows if that'll be conclusive or not. I mean, I swear to God, since the first episode of this we've done, it's always been like, no, we're going to have the answer on Friday. It's like, clearly that's never happening.
Right.
Turns out, spoiler alert, there's no definitive answers about anything.
Right.
But you will be able to at least hear these other people's opinions, the other specialists, the people who wrote this paper, which is amazing that you can, like, you know, through your doctor, reach out to them. This
is what I think living in New York is like. All right, fine, I'll pay this stupid rent. But yeah, all that stuff. And I still will get monitored no matter what. So I'm not, you know, just going like, bye guys, I'm just going, you know, this way in medicine.
Yeah,
like,
I'm off the grid.
yeah. Forget my cell phone and fuck everyone. I'm leaving myself open to like what people tell me about cannabis, and I'm leaving myself open to radiation. But let me tell you something, the word radiation, the way we discovered how, you know, it works, and the fact that we're willing to put radiation in people's bodies, but not cannabis as a test, as, you know, something that could be a viable resource to this, is absurd. It's criminal. It is, it's Nazi shit. I know that people always compare things to Hitler, but this is a group of people who are being denied health. And, you know, I don't know if it takes, like, you know, the entire DEA to get cancer and get sent home to die for them to recognize that desperate times shouldn't be this desperate. you know, because I know they know. I know they
Mhm.
know because your average person knows now. You know, there are enough documentaries, and this is your job to know. So I know you know. And if you don't know, wow, do you need to get fired quickly? So it's such a horrible conspiracy. It's such a disgusting way to let people die and live terrible lives and suffer in horrible pain that I'm not even like feeling. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like this is nothing compared to what people are going through. So how dare you? I wave my finger at them again. Hopefully
Mhm.
somebody will listen. Hopefully a person who, you know, thought of weed as just like, you know, me getting high and just, you know, being a whatever version of beatnik they want to call me in my head is I thought this way also. I
Mhm.
thought this way also. I thought this is your brain on drugs. I fell for every after school special. But just like when you grow up, you understand, oh, this adult doesn't really know what they're talking about. And these people have been lying to me. And my parents, turns out, didn't know absolutely everything.
Yeah.
These other people also, you might be able to know some stuff more than them or allow that information in faster than them. And
Mhm.
they're not always on your side. What a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the fact that it can't be studied more, like that seems to me the criminal part. Like it's fine if in the American Cancer Society, they do say that they want more studies. Like it's
But
not
they're limited.
they're right.
Yeah.
It's not that they're saying like this for sure doesn't work. They're saying we have no proof that it works. So that seems the shame. Like if it doesn't, because even with this guy, and it working and him giving it to other people, that could be 100% like legit, but until there are more studies done and it tried on monitored more closely,
That's all
and
people are asking for.
right, you can't know for sure if it works or not, which, like, again, it doesn't seem to be doing any harm, so why not try it? But also, why not, if it's working, then why not look into it?
God,
Like,
the fact that it has never killed anyone, never
mhm.
once did weed ever kill anyone. The stuff that they taught you as a kid was way different than that.
Yeah.
I was told that I could really go crazy, lose my life, my job, my loved ones on pot.
Mhm.
Come on. If
Yeah.
they were giving you that information then maybe they're giving you weird information now. Like,
Mhm.
it's and you know what, anybody who tells you not to even question it, not to even study something, not to like
Mhm.
ask anything, that's already shady. That's
Uh-huh.
shady no matter what topic. It's shady with heroin, it's shady with everything. So
Mhm.
this lovely plant that, you know, makes people giggle and fall asleep, come on.
Yeah. And I just want to repeat, because I feel like you might get some reaction, from this. You're not ignoring your doctors. Your doctors, first of all, said it's up to you. So, like, that's the end of it. Also, it's nobody's business. It's your decision.
But here's the thing, based on all of these interviews and everything that I
Mhm.
said about doctors, I need clearance for
Yeah.
espresso. I
Mhm.
need, like, you can't take my adhesive off unless the doctor said, you know, take this off in 1 hour, and then I'm taking it off in 1 hour.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything the doctors. I know that they went to school, and I know that, you know, Western medicine is no joke. I know the
Mhm.
leaps and bounds that we've, you know, came to me being able to have this open heart surgery and be able to talk like this, you know, 3 weeks later. Oh my God, I'm not
Yeah.
ignoring anything. You tell
No.
me to do radiation, and that really will save my life. And I'm not going to tell you you're just, you know, some guy with a degree. That counts too. Everything counts. So yeah, you can shit on me, but good luck. Good luck fighting logic.
Yeah.
Let Santa Claus cure you. I don't know.
All right. So the last kind of thing we have here, I think, unless, obviously feel free to add, but
Let's see. I didn't shit my pants. I kicked chairs over,
Mhm.
and
You
I'm a
said
pothead.
you said you were trying to see how long you can go without pain meds.
Mm.
Now, what have the doctors said about weaning you off, or like how does that work?
No, it's like a take as needed thing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not taking crazy meds. I'm taking
Mhm.
pretty much like 3 Tylenols in one pill, or
Mhm.
like 3 ibuprofens in one pill, and then I have Percocet, but it's the absolute lowest dose, and I take it before I go to sleep, because it does make you a little wonky. So I'll take one or two of those a day. So they said every 4 hours, but for how long? You know, so
Well, how long did they say?
I don't have that, but they said as needed. So if you don't need it, you don't have to take it.
Mhm.
So I figured that is okay for if if I'm not feeling any pain at the 4 hours, maybe I should stop like around the clock it, So I'll start monitoring myself at that 4 hours. So I extended it to 4 to 5 hours, I'll take it.
Okay.
So, and as soon as I feel pain, which I haven't really been, because if 6, 7 hours pass, I'll probably take one anyway, because I don't want to stress my body. I understand what the pain meds are doing, but that's enough after a while,
And yeah, so how have you been feeling doing that then?
Some days it's every 4 hours, and some days, like, I'll sleep through the night. I would wake up at 6 a.m. and it would be time, and I would just take it right away. But now it's not really that much. I'll sleep through the night and I'll take it in the morning, because mornings are kind of rough. Like, nighttime sleep is still stiff. I still can't, fully sleep on every side or do everything I want. And
are you still sleeping on the couch?
Still sleeping on the couch. I still can't pick up 10 pounds, and to climb a ladder to me just seems extra. So I considered it, but I'm like, why would I push that?
Yeah.
This is fine. But I do miss my little nook.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is then, so what's next? Do you have an appointment with the radiologist again?
Yes.
Okay.
This is after he
Right.
spoke
This
to
is after.
everybody.
Okay, great. And then, so when's that?
Thursday. Yeah. So it's 5 days from now.
Okay. So we'll probably record again after that,
Yeah.
I would imagine. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we close it up here?
Told on myself so much. That's got to be everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can subscribe to Keith and the Girl on iTunes. All Chemda wants to do is come back to work. So let there be a work for her to come back to. It's her life's work. It's an amazing podcast. Check it out. It's for free. You can subscribe for free on iTunes. You can also subscribe to the video feed on iTunes, which is where this show is available for free. And this is usually part of a paid subscription. What's my name? It's part of the VIP membership for Keith and the Girl, but because of the
sensitive material
and because people want to know, you've made it like freely available. So you can find that on the video feed, like I said, and VIP listeners, you can, share this on SoundCloud and YouTube, many places to get this show.
Yeah, like I really feel like anywhere that people watch or listen to shows, something is available that I did. So if you can share that would be really great. And especially like here comes Cheeseball. Like I'm hoping that this mirrors so many people's lives that like, I could have watched this before my tumor removal or whatever, and just kind of like anticipated some stuff and felt the camaraderie with people. Like it's the reason we go on forums. It's, we just want to know that I'm not the only crazy one.
Yeah.
What should I anticipate? What's normal? When will I go crazy? Can I hear someone else going crazy? So if you can share that with anyone who you think would be interested, or cancer forums, or thymoma, whatever, whatever you think would resonate, that would be exactly what my life would be.
Yeah.
I lived a life. I did something. I shared something that was good for someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. That even if it's just entertainment, like that's what I want. I want
I
to
know,
leave.
and I think a lot of people have been entertained, and but also, it does. I think people are relating, definitely, because there's been posts on the forums where people are like, oh, this reminds me of, my cancer scare, or my, getting my tumor removed, or, and there's something for everyone to relate to in it, even if they haven't been through this specific, health. I mean, the thymoma, that might be a very niche audience, but
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, but that'd be so great if, if someone is listening and going through the same thing. So so please share. And
and on a different note, super quick, I did want to say one more thing. Ann Whitman, thank you for your support just in so many ways. I just wanted to shout her out also. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, everybody who's been writing and sharing and supporting Chemda and supporting the fundraiser. You can go to youcaring.com/thegirl. All of these appointments, all of these medical procedures, they're not cheap. So either, you can just go and read the story. You don't even have to donate. You can also share that easily. Share something. And thank you for listening.
or just share some pot. Bye.
And stay tuned. Bye.
What's my name show.com